Hello everybody, my name is Morpheus Dawson and I am a sorcerer based in India. I have experience in sorcery, high magic as well as Qliphoth. I have studied the Kabbalah and have reached through the Sephiroth, and I have gone and studied the Norse pathworking courses as well. I have currently been mastering the course that Odin provided out for me. I am studying that to gain powers of the Norse spirits. So basically, this is an idea that I really like from a channel called Universal Mastery. And I really love the idea that he showed his certification, his qualities before he started his videos. So that helps with people learning more about the subject. So this is basically my version of that. My name is Morpheus and I welcome you all into this video. So before we go any further, I would really love to give thanks to Brad Grandstaff, Crimson and Ellie for being part of my patrons. I really hope that you like my work that I'm putting out. I have been out for some weeks, but I'm finally back now. I have gained back part of my soul after a rigorous path working with the Qliphoth. So you might find this type of style coming up more often now. So now that we're talking about the Qliphoth, we have to discuss various things that we must first learn before we go any further. For learning more about the Qliphoth, you can just subscribe to this channel, click on the bell icon if you want to stay notified of my further Qliphothic videos, and I will be posting my own chants rituals as well as really good guided meditations as well as programs which are geared to help people who are into the Qliphoth and want specific guidance from me. That's on my Patreon right now. There is a link down below this video and it's on my Patreon, and if you can subscribe to my Patreon, you will have specific tiers. One of my tiers, which is the 28.99 tier, it basically has a monthly ritual that I perform on you guys as a gift, and you guys gain a lot of direct contact with me, and basically you get a lot of discounts on my further rituals and my products, and that's basically it. So before we start, let me tell you, this video is not an education or magical one. This is basically purely my personal gnosis right now. So if you don't like that, then you can click away. So basically, this is my personal gnosis of Odin, the connection that he has with the Qliphoth, and how Norse spirits are connected and how our modern world was created. So basically, we first need to talk about the Qliphoth. The Qliphoth is an inverse tree of light, Sephiroth. It represents the shells of Kabbalah, and the spirit tree itself is the gate to the underworld, and the tree has specific spears which are specific hell realms, and every single part of those realms, they are connected to their own Sephirothic interpretation and the path. There are opposites, like for example, the most common example if you study it are Thamael and Keter. So Keter is the top of the tree of life, is basically what we see as the unity of God. Unity of God means basically the onehood and the highest emanation of God that you can reach and commune with in any state of form. It is ruled by Metatron. However, Archangel Michael has been seen by me in there as his white dragon form. So you need to keep that in mind as well. And Thamael itself is a duality of God, like it's exact opposite. While Keter promises unity and goodness, Thamael shows that there is light and there is dark. So when we study the Qliphoth and its distributions, we learn that we are seeing the opposite at the underbelly of life. We're seeing the darkness that permeates our world, and the powers that it gives us are much more different and much more dangerous, because while it is very powerful, it can be really hard to control. for any magician if they are not even trained. And even the most strongest and the most trained magicians are weak compared to the spirits that inhabit the Qliphoth. And this is basically my intro to Qliphoth. If you cannot understand it, you can just email me, morphisdarkson@gmail.com, or just send me a message on my Instagram at the Occult Cauldron. I will explain to you in depth, or you can just pay for my Patreon. It's also valid. So now we go through the Qliphoth and how it refers to the human psyche and how Odin and other gods are part of this. So we have to see that while various gods are turned into demons, basically this happened was that very years ago, when Christian demonology was in its peak in Europe, there were grimoires where they had different spirits or demons which were actually forms of other spirits and other deities of various different realms. Basically, for example, we have Astaroth, who was Astarte once, and then she got turned into this demon named Astaroth, which is a male demon. It's a whole different kind of forms, which I will be getting into later. So Astaroth then became Astaroth, or Astarte became Astaroth. Funny thing is, Astarte was originally called Asherah in Hebrew land before Israel was formed, and she was seen as consort to the father of Yahweh. And even then, after when Yahweh's cult became famous, she was associated with him. So that is also something you have to keep in mind when you work with Astaroth. She has different forms. She's Ishtar, she's Astaroth, she's Aphrodite, she's Venus. So you have to first study her as well. Then there are other gods, like we have Apep or Apophis. He and Odin are really similar in the Qliphothic tree signature or dynasty or whatever you want to say it, because the cosmology that we are seeing here is that there are many gods and demons who can take a form in the Qliphoth and have Qliphothic attributions. For example, Apophis would be associated with Dath. Why Dath? Because Apophis is the serpent of the core, abyss, the void. And Apophis was the original serpent which has its own form. I am really sorry for the noise that we are having. I tried to record this video on my DSLR and for some reason it did not work, and now it's 5 p.m. and the children in the locality are screaming their mind out. Anyways, I really hope that you guys don't hate this, because I promise that I will be trying my best to make sure that there is no noise. But is that when we see Apophis in ancient Egyptian lore, we see that he was originally a really interesting deity, because in some texts he's seen as twin of Ra, and he's seen as the darkness that embodies all the shadows that is left behind after Ra is formed out of light and he becomes the sun. And also he's sometimes seen as the early first sun god, who then gave birth to Ra, and Ra then killed and took over, and then Apophis was turned into a serpent or the worm, which then slithers out to eat the world. So you can say that Apophis now has his own adversarial aspect, which ties into really neat into his Egyptian lore, because he is the adversary and the opposite to Ra, and Ra is the entity of danger and the entity of wrath. So now Odin. Why? Because you might think that Odin, he's a really good spirit, he's a deity. Odin, while you may think that he is a really powerful spirit and a really light one, he's not actually light. Odin has taken a different forms in his life. For example, before the world was created in forms, Odin took an aspect as the world builder. He helped the world to be born after his father Buri created the primordial world out of the body of Ymir. And then when we see that Thor is born, Odin becomes a different kind of person. He is not the god of light anymore. Odin is the creator as well as he's the preserver. However, he also has a destructive aspect. He takes the form of the original dangerous serpent who tempts people. He has taken that form as well. You might be angry because Odin has his own feud with Jormungandr, the world serpent, but in the lore we see that Odin is a mystery lover. He loves mysteries. He loves to find history and various secrets that he can use in his upcoming fight. Or at least that's the theory, that Odin is searching all around the world because he wants to protect Asgard and he wants to save his life. But the thing is, Odin has always been doing that. He loves wisdom. He loves knowledge. So in the Qliphothic hierarchy, we will be putting him right alongside Lucifer as a light bringer. Because when we look into the history of Odin, he is a deity because he has walked through the path of darkness. He has been the patron god of preservers and the berserkers who fought and shed blood. He was a dark archetype back then, who then turned into a really loving light god, the king of Asgard, the protector, when there was a different life or a different dynasty that happened where Odin was seen as a very prideful warrior, and the people who were the previous gen, they were killed off, and the new generation that appeared worshipped Odin as their own god. However, when Christianity appeared in Europe, we see that Odin was then destroyed, desecrated, and thieves started studying and working with Odin, because then Odin became another mystery god. He became the god of thieves. He started his story of Satan came out. He started becoming the patron god of witches and vulvas. Then he started becoming also a god of darkness as well. So we are seeing that Odin has taken different forms. So by taking him to Thaumael, we are seeing that he embodies the Neptunian aspect of Satan, which is the dark, abyssal aspect of darkness. He's the underbelly of society. He has gone through that. And then we can see that he is at the top. Like when he's at the throne of Asgard, he is the top. He's having everything fine. And he is the light then. While we see, and it really seals the fact for me that Odin is a Thaumaelic entity, is because while Odin is Mercury in his own generation, in his own powers, he has an aspect with Thaumael and the twin gods. Because while we see that Neptune and Pluto run around and they are cold, they also have a light. The light that Pluto has is really dangerous, that we must follow and we must learn from. Odin's path is that of a warrior. He fought for Asgard, he will fight for it, and his origins take the form of a really dark god. When Odin tries to find secrets, he can go underground. He do not need to fear. He does not feel that being his own god, he does not deserve, or he should not have to go through filthy places. He can go through that because he is God. He knows that. So that makes him a dualic entity, and he fits very well with the Thaumaelic spirit. So now you would be wondering, what next? So this happened. So are there any other entities? Yeah, there are many, but it's not my job to find them. It's yours. So what do we have to do now? What I want to teach you right now is a really good history of the Qliphoth. While the shells exist, while the spirits there exist in the bottom of the world, we have to understand that they are also vampiric, dangerous entities. And my own understanding of the Qliphoth has taught me that the true path walking to the Qliphoth deals with us magicians going through the Qliphoth, going through its spears and then conquering it. Not just meaning, hi, hello, I love you, then going through the next. No, you have to learn through the spears. You have to learn the teachings that each spear gives out. And when you reach Darth, when you reach the abyss, you have to walk through that. You have to fight and then feed on the beings that give you power. You have to fight with it. You have to fight with those demons. You have to fight with Beelzebub. You have to fight with Lucifer. You have to fight with Lucifuge, Lilith, Nama, whatever. You have to fight with them. You have to absorb the powers. You have to learn that. And then in the final fight, you have to kill Lucifer and then take his torch. The torch of light, which you need. That is the powers that you have. And once you take that, the Qliphoth itself becomes your plaything. Then you can go through the tunnels of Set and learn through the darkest parts there. However, you should also go through the Sephiroth then, because the Sephiroth will give you really interesting polarities to the Qliphoth. And by balancing both, by balancing the light and the dark, you will be able to become a lord, a god in your own form. And I will be just ending this video right now because the kids are finally out and they are gonna be ravaging the world. I hate kids. Anyways, guys, this was just a little bit of a video that I made. It is a new type of format that you can be expecting. This is my lights have just went out. That's something. So I will be making more videos around this style of format. So if you like this, then hit the like and please join my Patreon because I am currently suffering through financial crisis, but it will not end with nothing. I will be making more videos now. So take care, guys. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye. Have a great day and take care. Bye.